Hey folks, I got a surprise for you. ATV towels.
For when your college TV diet spills into boredom, the plain program won't soak up your laughs like the fun-driven program of ATV. Watch this side-by-side comparison.
ATV, the laughter picker-upper. It's upside down.
I'm Ryan Gates with your Brockport Golden Eagle Sports Update. The men's football team had a rough weekend as they fell to the 23rd ranked team in the nation, the Cortland Red Dragons, 35-0. The Golden Eagles were the best offense in the NJAC heading into the game, but the top-ranked defense of Cortland held the Golden Eagles in check. John Williams went 17 of 26 for 154 yards, but threw 2 interceptions. The football team is now 1-4 as they come back home Saturday to face William Patterson. The men's soccer team won their only match of the week as they beat out conference rival Geneseo 3-1. The team was led by Bobby Ross, who netted 2 goals. His second came in the 70th minute to give the Golden Eagles the lead. Jamie Crum added his team-high 6th goal of the season to close out the scoring. The team is now 8-1-2 overall and 4-1 in the SUNYAC. They continue their homestand this weekend as they host Oswego on Friday and Cortland comes to town on Saturday. The women's volleyball team played 3 matches over the week, the first against head coach Kelly Grippentrog's former team, the St. John Fisher Cardinals. The team would lose in straight sets to the Cardinals, but on Saturday they participated in the Rochester Tri-Match. They would lose their first game to the University of Rochester in straight sets. However, later that day they defeated the Buffalo State Bengals 3-1. Kelly Nowak led the team to victory with 16 digs, 7 kills, and 2 blocks. The team travels to RI team for their only match this week. Finally, the women's field hockey team split over their week. The first on Wednesday, they won a thriller in overtime 1-0 over Utica College. Kelly Ann Henry lifted the team to victory with her first ever breakaway goal. On Saturday, the team hosted the Geneseo Knights and nearly upset them, but would lose the game 2-1. The Golden Eagles struck first as Jessica Blind put away the goal, but Geneseo battled back, scoring the last 2 goals. Casey Schreiner made a season-high 15 saves on the game. The field hockey team is now 6-8 and 2-3 in the SUNYAC. They return to action this Saturday as they travel to Geneseo looking for revenge. That was your Brockport Sports Update. We'll send it back to Brian with Over or Under.
Welcome back to the Eagles Nest. We're here with RJ Santillo, Brandon Cottrill, and we're going to do something a little bit different. Over-unders. Going a little Vegas on you. And we'll have you guys say over or under. First question for you. Joe Marino, men's soccer goalkeeper, 8 shutouts, 7 games to go in the season. Over or under 12.5 shutouts this year?
Big number, but I'm going to say over. 91% save percentage so far this season. Lost only 1 match in net. He's a cornerstone of the team. He's the reason they are the reigning SUNYAC champions, and largely in part the reason they made it all the way into the national tournament. It's like hockey. You get hot at the right time, you make a run. I'm going to say he gets to 13.
Right. Well, actually, I'm going to have to disagree, and I'm going to have to go with under. With 7 games remaining, I mean, I think he'll finish with maybe 3 or 4 more shutouts. I mean, he had a good streak going with 8, but I think those goals that he let up, I was actually at the game when he gave up his 2 and ended his streak. But, I mean, these goals could have been easily prevented, and I just think his streak was unbelievable, and he even gave up 1 on Saturday. So
if you don't go to any more games, he's set.
All right, we can go with that then. But
right.
I think 5's pushing it. So.
Okay, well, after dropping a tough 2-1 match against the conference's #1 ranked team in Geneseo, Brockport Field Hockey will get another shot at the Knights this weekend, which would be a monumental win for the program after missing SUNYACs last year. Over or under half a playoff game in the 2010 season for the field hockey team?
They are playoff bound. They are playoff bound. A tough 1-goal loss against Geneseo last time out. They have another match against Geneseo this coming weekend. I'm going to say they pull the upset, be a huge one. A huge monumental win, as you said, BMS. I think they're going to SUNYACs.
Fortunately, I'm going to have to disagree again and go with under. Fortunately, they're 6-8 right now. They do have a young team. They're very talented, but I think this season they're just going to fall a little bit short. But they got a young squad, so they'll get it for next season.
All right, yep, young squad, lots of freshmen, and certainly, no matter what happens this year, they have turned some stuff around. 5 games down, 5 still to go for the Brockport football team. Safe to say things haven't gone exactly the right way. 1-4 at this point. Over or under 1.5 wins for the rest of the year.
You know, B-Mans, I see 2 winnable games. I see 2 games that they can win left on the schedule, one against William Patterson and the other against their rival Buffalo State in the final game of the season. It's the I-90 Bullets in Brockport. So I'm going to say they get to 2. They started out slow last year, same deal, and they finished 4-6. I'm going to say they get to 3 this year. So, but it is over. I'm going to say they get 2 more wins.
All right. Actually, I can finally agree, and I'm going to go over as well. Actually, this season has turned out not the way they wanted it to, but take a look at their 4 losses. I mean, 2 were by a nationally ranked team. You got St. John Fisher, and also I believe the other one was Cortland. And then the other 2 losses was by a last-second field goal. And then the other one was drive that basically they couldn't finish, and they lost by 7. So I think maybe they can win at least 5, or get 3 more wins and go 4-6 on the season.
Well, you mentioned Buffalo State there. 71-3 winners against William Patterson this past week, so that one might be a little tougher than originally thought for Brockport. But finally, the Brockport women's soccer team currently tied for that 6th and final position in the SUNYAC Conference. There are 6 conference matches still on the schedule. Looks like it's going to take another 2 or 3 wins for Brockport to punch a playoff ticket. Over or under 2.5 wins for the final 5 matches.
Hate to say it, but under. Cortland, a tough matchup, especially with Buff State after that. Buffalo State, the top-ranked team in the conference, and I wouldn't rule it out, but right now, have to say under.
All right, well, actually, I'm going to disagree. I'm going to go with under. Buff State and Cortland are definitely 2 tough matches, but I'm going to go on a limb and say they win 3 or more games against Oswego. They got Fredonia, and they have Cobskill, so I think they will make the SUNYACs.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Brandon Cottrill, RJ Santillo, thank you both very much. Also want to thank Ryan Gates, who had the update for us. Matt Avery, senior cross-country runner for the Brockport cross-country team, of course, joined in, stopped by to talk a little bit about their season. Wish him nothing but luck. The way he's going, he doesn't really need it, though. 89.1 BTV, all the crew here. Tune in next time for another edition of the Eagle's Nest. Back to you, guys.
Do you think that video games make people more violent? Well, for this week's Hat Trick, I spoke with Brockport students to get their opinion on the matter.
I think video games make people violent because they see it and think that all the actions are okay.
I think video games aren't violent because they have ratings, and if you're under 17, you shouldn't buy a video game.
I think that video games actually are violent, like the war games and stuff, because they promote violence. But I have a personal story of my ex-boyfriend. His roommate would get so upset when he lost video games that he would punch the ceiling or the walls or whatever, and he punched a hole in the ceiling, and then they ended up having to pay for it to fix it.
I do not think that video games make people violent. I think it lets people release their anger in a more positive way in video games rather than taking it out on people in real life.
Brockport students seem pretty divided on whether or not video games make people violent.
Yeah, that's an interesting find. I wasn't sure which way it would go when it was actually half and half.
Yeah, I thought it'd depend on if people really did play video games or not, and if they knew what they were talking about, but everyone seemed to really believe what they said.
Yeah, it's an interesting find.
Yeah.
Oh, Mackenzie, would you like to pick us a hat trick for this week?
Sure.
For those of you who do not know what the hat trick is, each week we take suggestions from you for a story, or an event, or something interesting you would like covered. We pick one and then report it the following week. If you would like to suggest a hat trick, please visit brockporttv.com. So, Mackenzie, what do we have for this week?
Our topic this week is, does age matter in relationships?
Ooh, It's an interesting one.
Kind of tough, but it's really sounds like it'd be a good one to discuss with students.
Well, we'll discuss that one next week when we have that ready for you. So, thank you for watching Brockport Weekly. I'm Alec Richardson.
And I'm Mackenzie Moore.
Have a good night.